Brenda usually sits there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Got it. So, I'm going to use, how's everybody today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
Good.
Cool, mine too. So, I'm going to use this more on Wednesday than today, but I've made a map of everybody's faces. My goal is always to memorize face and name by the end of the semester for all my classes. So,
Where's the picture?
huh?
Where's the picture?
Your student ID. So anyway, we'll get into that more on Wednesday. Announcement quick. I sent you guys all an email about this as well, but your first writing assignment is due by the end of this coming weekend. It was originally scheduled for last weekend, but I didn't go over it in class, so I moved it back a week. I want you to write a cover letter for a company that you're interested in applying for a job for, and then attach that as a document to an email and email it to me by the end of the weekend. Okay? Okay. So that's that. Let me pull up the slides for today. So, overview-wise, from our first week in the Hambrick model, we're still up here on the lecture this week in strategic analysis. And book chapter-wise, last week we went over the external environment. Today we're going over chapter 3, the internal organization. So, overview of where we're at. So the whole idea in internal analysis is to identify your capabilities and resources as an organization. Among those, identify what your core competencies are, and then discover among your core competencies what your distinctive competencies are. So that's the things that you are best at doing as an organization. We're going to talk about a couple of tools for your case analysis, both resource evaluation in terms of resources being valuable, rare, costly to imitate, and non-substitutable. And we're going to talk a little bit about value chain analysis and comparing your key success factors in the industry between your organization and another organization. So once you've done that analysis, you should come up with distinctive competencies that your company is better at doing than your competitors, which give you competitive advantage and above average returns. So the first tool we're going to talk about is resource-based strategy. So a resource-based strategy is an attempt to exploit a company's valuable and rare resources and competitive capabilities to deliver value in ways rivals find difficult to match. Determining what resources are the ones that you really want to focus on as an organization. You want to ask yourself 4 questions. Is the resource or capability valuable, first of all? So next you want to ask yourself, is the resource or capability rare and something that your rivals do not have? Then you want to ask yourself, is the resource hard to imitate? Even if it's rare, is it relatively easy for your rivals to come in and copy or imitate that resource or capability? And finally, ask yourself, is your organization well organized to take advantage of that resource or capability? So this creates an acronym, VRIO, which is the acronym of the tool that we're going to be using in the case analysis document. So, common types of resources or capabilities that are part of this VRIO analysis are things like skills or specialized expertise in some competitively important capability. Sometimes you're looking at physical assets or human assets and intellectual capital. Sometimes it's your organizational structure or other organizational assets. Sometimes that resource is an intangible asset of some kind. And sometimes it could be maybe an alliance or a cooperative venture that you have with another firm. There's 3 types of competencies that we talk about in this class. The first is just a competence, and that is the product of organizational learning and experience and represents something that the company has real proficiency at doing internally. A core competence, as opposed to a competence, is an internal activity that is well performed by the company, and it's central to the company's competitiveness and profitability. And then finally, a distinctive competence is a competence or a resource capability that the company is better at performing than its competitors. So the idea is to identify your competencies as a company, narrow those down to your core competencies that are important to your central to your business's mission and goals, and then identify among those core competencies which ones are distinctive, which ones are the things that your company does better than your competitors. So, types of core competencies. Sometimes it could be something like expertise in building networks and systems. Could be getting new generation products to market quickly. Could be something like better after-sales capability. Manufacturing capability for high-quality products. Could be your innovation capability in developing popular product features. Could be speed in responding to new market trends, like the driving forces that we talked about last week. Could be your company's ability to fill customer orders accurately and swiftly. Could be something like expertise at integrating technologies. There's different types of resources in the organization that you want to analyze to see which ones are your valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and well-organized ones. They could be financial resources, so things like the firm's ability to borrow money or the ability to generate funds internally through sales and revenues. Could be capabilities like your organizational resources, so the formal reporting structure of the organization could be a resource that you want to take advantage of. Physical resources, things like the location of a firm's manufacturing plant and their distribution facilities, sometimes your inventory of products. You could look at technological resources, so the availability of copyrights, patents, trademarks, other types of intellectual property. Then, in addition to tangible resources, things you can sort of touch, feel, and quantify, organizations have intangible resources as well. So these are things like your human resources, the knowledge of your employees, trust, and ability to collaborate with each other. Innovation resources, so the ideas generated by the company or your capacity to innovate. It could be reputational resources, so the reputation of your brand name, or perception that your products are high quality and durable and reliable. All of these things could be a core competence or distinctive competence of your firm. Some examples of firms that do particular types of resources and capabilities particularly well. Distribution, so effective use of logistics management techniques. Walmart is a great example of that. Walmart's also a great example of management information systems, so effectively and efficiently controlling their inventories and using point-of-purchase data collection methods. Human resources, motivating, empowering, and retaining employees. Microsoft is really good at having a strong culture that motivates their employees. Marketing resources, or marketing capabilities. The effective ability to promote brand name products. Companies like Procter & Gamble, Nordstrom's, very good at this type of capability. Management capabilities, so things like the ability to envision the future of clothing. Hugo Boss and Zara are really good at that. Manufacturing capabilities, so the ability to design and produce reliable products, producing quality products and quality designs. Companies like Komatsu, Witt Gas, and Sony are quite good at this. Research and development capabilities, so your innovative technology or the ability to rapidly transform technology into new products and processes. Caterpillar, very good at that. Some other companies here listed as well that are good at that capability. In this chart here, we basically have a different version of the VRIO framework. So I like to have organization in this column rather than non-substitutable. So if you have a resource which is not valuable, not rare, easy to imitate, and you're not well organized to take advantage of it, you're going to tend to be at a competitive disadvantage, and your firm is going to generate below average returns. If you have a valuable resource which is not particularly rare or hard to imitate, you're going to probably have parity with your competitors and generate just average returns. If you have a resource or capability which is valuable and rare, but it's not very hard for your competitors to imitate, then you're probably going to have a temporary advantage, but eventually your above average returns are going to fall back to being average returns. And then finally, if you have a resource which is valuable, rare, and hard to imitate, that is going to be something that generates sustainable competitive advantage and above average returns for your firm. So I've got a nice example here that I borrowed from my colleague David Olson of a lot of different resources and capabilities that Starbucks as an organization has. And his categorization as to which of those is valuable, which of them is rare, which of them is hard to imitate, and which of them the company is well organized to take advantage of. This is a good example of how to fill out your case analysis tool for this particular tool. So if we skip out of the PowerPoint for a second and open up the case analysis template, make that one page and scroll down. Last week we talked about external analysis, so we talked about how to fill out the driving forces tool. We talked about how to fill out the Porter's 5 Forces tool, and unfortunately this is in your own words now rather than using the MarketLine database, because our library has decided to cut our subscription to MarketLine. So this is not a copy and paste exercise anymore. And we also talked about key success factors last week. So internal analysis is the part that we're talking about this week, and the analysis of company resources and competencies is basically just a chart that you're going to fill out listing different resources and capabilities of the firm that you are focusing on in your case paper. You're going to list those here, and you're just going to tell me yes or no. Do you believe they're valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and do you believe the company is well organized to take advantage of them? So if we look at this Starbucks example, R&D skills, for example, are one capability. Another one is employee compensation. Another is number of coffee houses. And another one is renowned brand name. So you're going to fill out this chart in your own words with the resources or capabilities you think the company has, these competencies or core competencies that you believe the company is good at doing, and then tell me, are they valuable? So, R&D skills, yes. Bless you. Those are valuable. They're not too rare, though. Everybody has R&D skills. They're not that hard to imitate. And Starbucks is not particularly well organized to take advantage of them compared to any other firm. Employee compensation, yes, it's valuable. Employees like to be compensated. Starbucks has a very unique package of how they do employee compensation. So, yes, it's kind of rare as well. But it's not that hard to review all the ways that they do their compensation package and try and imitate it. So no, it's not that hard to imitate, and no, the organization is not particularly well organized to take advantage of it. Number of coffee houses, yes, that's valuable. It's good to have coffee houses in all the different locations that they have so that customers can easily find a Starbucks. Yes, it's rare because, yes?
When you say imitatable, you said it's not that hard to imitate, but you put no. We're putting yes instead of okay.
Is it hard to imitate?
It has an in front of it, so it's the opposite.
Imitable means it's easy to imitate. Inimitable means it's hard to imitate. Got it? So the number of coffee houses, kind of hard to imitate because, once you've got a coffee house at a certain location, it's hard to put another one at that same location because the house is already there. And no, I don't think they're very well organized to take advantage of it. Brand name, yes, very valuable. There's only one Starbucks, so yes, it's rare. They've got a trademark on the name, so Yes, it's also hard to imitate. And yes, the organization, the whole Starbucks organization is focused on promoting that brand name and generating a certain experience associated with the name Starbucks. So yes, I'd say they're well organized to take advantage of it. So for your case analyses, I want you to fill out this chart with capabilities and resources from the company that you're analyzing, and then just tell me whether you think they're valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and whether the company is well organized to take advantage of them. Does that make sense? Okay.
Do you want the whole chart filled out, or is it just put in maybe half or whatever?
Fill out as many as you can. So, if you got, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you come up with 6 or 7, you could delete the last couple lines. If you think of 10, go ahead and fill out all 10. But I want more than 5. Okay? Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. So, going back to our slides again. Competitive strength assessment. So, the next tool we're going to talk about is cross-company comparisons of how how certain activities are performed and costs associated with these activities are for the company you're focusing on and one of their major competitors. So these could be things like how the company purchases materials, how they pay suppliers, how they get new products to market, how they do quality control, perhaps how they fill and ship customer orders. I've included a chart here which is not in your book. It's from an older textbook that I used to use, but this bottom section here I find very useful. When I did my MBA and then was out working afterwards, there's a lot of times where I felt like, I really am not using a lot of the things that I learned in my MBA in my day-to-day work, and I kind of wish that I had created sort of a cheat sheet of some of the key concepts that I could have sort of had at my disposal to use more of my education that I had paid so dearly for. And this is a nice cheat sheet, I find. It's a really great laundry list of all of the different capabilities that any particular firm has, and it's a good way to remind yourself of what capabilities could I focus on for my core distinctive competencies as an organization. Well, could be activities for supply chain management, could be assets associated with purchasing fuel, could be raw materials, could be merchandise. There's a great laundry list here of different capabilities and resources that you could focus on for your competitive strength assessment. So I've left that in the slides for you there. Some reasons why rival companies have different costs. Sometimes the prices paid for raw materials or component parts, energy, other types of resources, different companies have different suppliers and cost structures for that. Sometimes the basic technology or the age of your manufacturing facilities, your plant and equipment, are different for different companies. Economies of scale and experience curve effects. So if you have a bigger manufacturing capacity, your per unit cost is lower, and the more you do something, the better you get at doing it, and you generate experience curve effects, which can impact your cost structure as well. Wage rates and productivity levels can be different across different companies. Marketing, promotion, and admin costs may be different. Inbound and outbound shipping costs, forward channel distribution costs, all of these things can be different between different companies, which could create an imbalance in the costs that one company has versus the costs that another company has. A few words about outsourcing. in general, you want to outsource, you want to not do internally the things that you are not good at doing and the things that are not central to your mission as an organization. So sometimes outsiders, other companies can perform certain activities better or cheaper than your organization. And offloading those tasks or activities onto another company allows your firm to focus more of its energies on its core business. In general, you do not want to outsource things that are critical to your firm's competitive advantage, so you don't want to outsource distinctive competencies. And you don't want to outsource things that might lead to lower quality product or service for your company. In general, this class is focused on very big companies and what it's like to manage a multi-divisional, multinational organization. I, as a professor, as a scholar, tend to be focused on small business. Many of you that have taken my small business class or my entrepreneurship class are familiar with that. So I've added a slide in here for those of you who will end up going into working for smaller companies. There's some great resources for outsourcing all kinds of different jobs and tasks and activities for small businesses. Time, etc. here is a great source of U.S.-based virtual assistants. Elance is both U.S. and international, various countries for all kinds of different tasks. Tasks Every Day, very good organization that provides virtual assistants based out of India. Fiverr is a cool exchange that has people posting all kinds of different jobs, activities, tasks that they're willing to perform for $5 or more. So price starts at $5. That's why it's called Fiverr. And then finally, if you're looking to do any kind of software app development, this site Get Apps Done is a really great way to find software developers for all kinds of different code programming purposes. So I've included that slide for FYI for your guys' information and reference. Good outsourcing resources for small businesses. Going to the case analysis template again. If you recall, last week we talked about key success factors. So your key success factors are basically the same as the resources needed in your business model tool. So the example that I gave in class, the very first week of class, was an example about the business model of higher education. So the resources needed in higher education are good relationships with government funding agencies, good relationships with private donors, good marketing to bring in tuition dollars, good quality professors, and high quality physical facilities. So that is what I would have put up in the resources needed section further above in the business model of this case analysis. And what I want you to do is just take whatever you had in there and insert it as the factors here. So I said those resources needed were good relationships with government funding agencies, good relationships with private donors, good marketing for tuition, good quality professors and good quality facilities. And then, so this is all in your own words. It's depends on which company you're analyzing, what you think their resources needed are. Once you've taken those resources needed and put them into the rows for your factors and the key success factors, you need to assign weights to these various factors. So the way I normally do this is by starting by saying, well, is it high importance, medium importance, or low importance? And in my opinion, government funding agencies are the most important relationship to have, the most important key success factor for a public higher education institute like this one. Relationships with private donors are kind of medium importance, and marketing for tuition, I'd say, is kind of lower importance because that's not the main place where we bring in most of our money. Good quality professors, I'd say that's medium importance, and good quality facilities is low. So once I've gone in and kind of ballparked what is high importance, medium importance, low importance, I can go in and assign percentages to those that add up to 100%. So if I've got 1 high, 2 medium, and 2 low factors, if I make this 40%, for example, and make the medium ones 20%, and the low ones 10%, that should all add up to 100%. Oops, 10%. So once you've given the factors weights, I need you to give me a sentence or two explaining why that weight is high importance or low importance or medium importance. So you would type, if you were doing your case analysis on higher education, you would type something like, this is the largest source of revenue for most public higher ed institutions. For this reason, we've rated this factor highest. Something like that. And for the medium ones, we're going to write something like private donors are an important source of revenue, but not as large as government agencies. For this reason, we've rated this factor of medium importance. Something like that. And then finally, marketing for tuition. Tuition is also an important revenue source, but it is smaller than either government agencies or private donors. For this reason, we've rated this factor of low importance. Fill out all of those rows. Then when you're finished, I want you to delete the instructions. The instructions are just there to tell you what to do. For your final case paper, I don't want the instructions in there. And then make sure to go in and make the font all black. Okay? Once you've got all of those boxes filled out, you're done with that tool and you're ready to move on to the next step. Make sense? Okay. So that was actually what we talked about in external analysis last week. So now, the competitive strength assessment, the tool that we're talking about today, you're going to take these same factors and weights from your key success factors tool. You're going to highlight, copy, and bring them down to the competitive strength assessment tool, and you're going to paste them right in there. Okay? But here we've got two different tables, company 1 and company 2. So you're going to copy and paste twice. And the exercise here is to compare your focus company with one of their main competitors. So if we stick with this higher education example, company 1 here is CSUB, and company 2, maybe we'll say Fresno State. And if you look up here at the instructions, copy factor names and weights from your key success factors. So we did that. Then assign strength ratings between 1 and 10, with 10 being the best, to each company. So if I sit down and think about Cal State, well, sometimes my colleagues on campus here are worried whether we're going to get all of our funding or not. So our relationships aren't spectacular with government agencies, but they're not bad. I might rate this a 7, out of 1 to 10. Relationships with private, yes?
So the strength rating is based on the relationship?
The strength rating is based on your opinion of how good the company is at doing that thing.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, in my opinion, we have very, very few private donors here at Cal State. So, actually, I'd give us about a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10 for private donors. We do a pretty good job marketing our tuition. We've got a low tuition and a great return on investment for this school. So, I'd give us a really high rating on that, maybe a 9. Good quality professors. We've got okay professors.
You can just say 5 or a 4.
Yeah, okay, 5. I'm average. And then, our facilities are okay, but they're not that great. Our facilities are a little bit older, so maybe I'd give us a 4 on facilities, okay? And then you're going to go do the same thing for the competitors. So Fresno State, I think they've got a little bit better relationships with Fresno. With Sacramento. I'm going to give them a 9 there. They've also got better private donors, so I'm going to give them maybe a 6 on private donors. They aren't quite as good as us, I'd say, at marketing their tuition, so I'm going to give them, what did I give us, a 9? So I'm going to give them more like a 5 for marketing tuition. Their professors are maybe a little bit better than us. I'll give them a 6. And their facilities are better too, so I'm going to give them an 8 on facilities. So once you've gone through and rated both companies, you're going to multiply, go back up here to the instructions, multiply the weight by the strength rating and sum up the scores. So 7 times 40% is, I believe, 2.8. 3 times 20% is, I believe, 0.9. 9 times 10% is 0.9. 20% times 5 is 1. And 10% times 4 is 0.4. Okay, so if we add all those up, 2.8 plus 0.9 is 3.7. Another 0.9 is 4.6, plus 1 is 5.6, plus 0.4 is 6 total. And we want to give comments justifying these ratings. So like I said, sometimes CSUB is uncertain of continuing funding from Sacramento. Therefore, we've only given the institution a 7. CSUB has very few private donors. Therefore, we've rated the institution low on this factor. Okay? You're going to give explanations in each of the boxes, and then you're going to do the same thing for Fresno State. So, let's see, 3.6, is that right? And this is 1.2. This is 1. This is 1.2. And this is 0.8. So if we add those up, 2, 3, 4.2, 5, 6, 7.8. Oh, you're right. I was wrong. So 7.3. Thank you. And same thing up here. So oh, okay. Yep. Thank you. And you're gonna give your comments in here as to why you think the competitor has the ratings that they do. And then when that's all done, I want you to go back, just like the other one, delete the instructions, and make sure everything is in black font. Okay? That's the last thing you're going to do to make it look nice for the final copy. Black font. Make sense? Okay. So, now SWOT analysis. How many people in here are familiar with SWOT analysis? Yep. So, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, as you all know. But for a company's strategy to be well conceived, it needs to match its resource strengths and weaknesses, and it needs to be aimed at capturing the best market opportunities for defending against external threats. Okay, so what I want you to do for your SWOT analysis is not just list the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I want you to tell me a strategy that could be used to take advantage of opportunities, to use your strengths to take advantage of opportunities, for example, or to overcome your weaknesses by taking advantage of opportunities. I want lists of factors up here, and I want 1 or 2 sentence suggestion from your group as to what the strategy should be for each of these 4 areas. Does that make sense? So, going back to the case analysis paper again. If we stick with the higher education example, strengths of CSUB are good bang for tuition buck. Weaknesses, maybe something like aging facilities.
You just have to put one example.
What?
You just have to put one example.
I'd like 2 or 3. Okay? So aging facilities, low donor participation, and location. Strengths, good bang for tuition buck. Recently acquired stellar Professor Woods. And good relationships with key community employers. Opportunities. Increase donor participation. Maybe expand tuition marketing. And what's another opportunity for Cal State?
Make some more woods.
Huh?
Make some more
Yeah,
woods.
hire more professors like Woods. Hire more Woodses. Threats. So, funding interruption from Sacramento. More attractive locations at other institutions. And
Better parking.
what's that?
At other institutions.
Better parking at other institutions. So now that we've got those factors listed, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I want a strategy for each of these 4 boxes. So, strengths and opportunities. Perhaps we could leverage Washington monthly tuition rating. Oops. To expand tuition marketing. Something like that. Weaknesses. How can we overcome weaknesses by taking advantage of opportunities? So, impress donors by hiring more Woodses. How could we use our strengths to avoid threats? Promote community relationships to decision makers in Sacramento, for example. And how could we minimize our weaknesses and avoid threats? So,
Build a damn another parking lot.
build more parking lots. Or garage, even better. So that's how I want you to fill out the SWOT analysis. When you're done, just like before, delete the instructions, highlight the entire thing, and make sure that it's all in black font. Got it? Okay. So just one other thing here. I've taken a nice tool here from my colleague David Olson as well, talking about how important certain strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. So if you think about the chance or the likelihood of certain strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats occurring, and you think about how major the impact would be if those things did occur, you can create a matrix of what's most important to deal with over here in the red and orange areas, and what doesn't really need to be dealt with as much in the blue and gray areas. So a good way of categorizing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats into a priority list of what to act on and what to not worry about so much. That's it for today. On Wednesday, we're going to have the whole session just for discussion. So I sent you guys some discussion questions. Please talk about those in your groups and come prepared to discuss. And I'll probably call on some individuals as well and kind of try to apply some of what we've learned on external analysis to the companies and industries that you're interested in going into for your careers. So see you all on Wednesday.